I'm coming at you with a massive attack. I'll leave you flat on your back, smack you with my mighty tackle. Bones will pop, snap, and crackle. This is a blitzkrieg, son. Sit down, I already won. Punishment has begun. Just let me reload my gun of ones. It's time to get off my pitch. Here I can help you with this. My shadow friend got a shiv, and he likes when you resist. Time to be quiet, don't snitch. I love the thrill of the risk. All day I spin like a disc. You know it deep in your soul. It's in your blood to blow. Bet every dollar you own. It's in your blood to blow. Man, this boy's out of control. You got some dice to roll. You know it deep in your soul. Bet every dollar you own. Man, this boy's out of control. You got some dice to roll.
Hello everybody, and welcome to another Big O Tier 3 recap. My name is Serpickles, and with me this week, as always, is Miss Tree. How you doing, Tree?
I'm good. I am underslept this week, as anyone who's just watched me play my game very badly will know. But I'm on to my third tea of the morning already, so you know that's how crazy it is over here. 3 teas. Living a wild life.
Well, it was an interesting week this week. Boy, have we got some reviews for you guys. Hopefully everyone's doing all right. Oh, I didn't fill out the stats in my notes for the final game that just got played this afternoon. But that's okay. I can just bring it up on REBBL when we get there. Anyway, let's just get started, provided everything is working fine. We had some Discord issues earlier. I also had some, I think, OBS issues. The back before I made the move from Twitch to YouTube, remember that 1 week where we had just could not connect to the Twitch server? I think that might have partially been an OBS thing, because it did it again tonight, and I just restarted OBS, and all of a sudden it's good. So I think it was a bit of both.
Yeah.
Anyway, Riker's here. You're here to fall asleep watching this. Well,
Don't fall asleep before we get to your game, Riker. I think there may be some commentary.
yeah. There's... Ooh, do I have some thoughts and prayers about that game?
There might be something about yours as well, Panda.
Everybody's here. Let's get into it. Starting with Lofty against Shaitan and a 3-0 win to the Lizards.
I streamed this game. It's fair to say there was some interesting decisions. There was also some pretty rough dice at certain points against Lofty, who's having a rough season. But I think Lofty also made some questionable decisions along the way.
Sorry, I just realized I forgot to update the death counter.
I actually did. I don't know if Shaitan's here, because Shaitan's just finished playing already this week's game.
Why is that firing?
Oh no, what's happening?
I didn't even touch anything. Apparently this is now thoughts and prayers. No, it's not. Get out of here. I didn't touch a damn thing. Where's the damn graphic?
There might be some thoughts and prayers for poor Lofty anyway.
Just typing numbers into the death counter. Why did that trigger? I blame OBS.
I'm sort of waiting in case there's more drama coming on the screen.
I mean, there might be. This show has just been a shamble for weeks now.
And it's not even my fault, which normally it would be. Things are a shamble and it's technology. That's almost certainly my fault. But I don't touch your OBS, so it's all on you. Yeah. or Sydney, and I don't know, something that's not me. I'm blaming Sydney just because you said that about Sydney servers on the call earlier, but that's not where you live.
By all means, blame Sydney. I live in Melbourne, so
Yeah, I guess Sydney's probably to blame. I threatened Shaitan. I don't know if Shaitan's watching, but I threatened Shaitan with a full segment just on the end of this game, and I think it should have been a full segment just in this game, because even though Shaitan won 3-0, from about like turn 12, maybe even earlier, maybe turn 11, Shaitan had the ball on a skink, was 2-0 up, and had basically either like removed or flattened all of Lofty's team. There was nothing anywhere near it. And had clearly decided this skink needed the level. I disagree slightly on that, although it turned out to be a good level. Because I think skink levels aren't that great. But yeah, the skink was on 5 SPP and did not make any effort to bring any of the sort of 3 or 4 maybe unleveled Saurus forward and force a handoff. Could have done a pass with the skink to get the level and done something else. I was very, very unhappy with Shaitan's lack of greed. That's despite not being at all key to how the game worked out. The thing that I remember most strongly about this game is on how unhappy I was that Shaitan didn't try to level a Saurus.
They are pretty important. It does seem that the I haven't played as lizards before, but the lizard teams that are the most successful seem to have the best developed Saurus.
Yeah, and those teams getting promoted, and it's going to face more kill teams. I would want some levels on those Saurus, and I think when you're 2-0 up and there was no recovery chance, I think that's the time to do it. Also, because if you really wanted the level on that skink, you could have done one of two things. You could have just thrown a pass. Admittedly, it's hard, it was stunty, but you had time. Or you could have just run in the score on like turn 12 and tried to score again, because frankly, by that point, Lofty's team had taken quite a lot of a beating.
Yeah, let's have a look at some of the stats. We had 14 on race to 5. 5 is not many when you're coming up against lizards. But were they any good? No, only 2 KOs. Yeah.
It was one of those classic games. Actually, like, Lofty got a really nice one right away. Like, maybe like the first or second block, they KO'd a Saurus. But it was one of those games where skinks were made of iron, and the Saurus sort of got a few stuns, but they just weren't critical.
That is a large block deficit. Was Shaitan just beating up the Amazons from the start, or were the Amazons perhaps a bit too dodgy?
Amazon dodging was really bad. Really, really bad. I think that Lofty was also guilty of basing too much sometimes. And there were some situations. So like on the first drive, which was Shaitan's drive, Lofty actually did manage to get the ball down right on like the edge of the end zone. It was a really sort of critical moment, it felt like at the time, because it was not at all certain that Shaitan was going to score on his drive. He had to roll, I think, 3+ without a reroll and then a 4+ with sure hands to score. But even that sack play, Lofty could have made better by doing a block first, and he didn't spot it. So I think there were times like that when Lofty sort of missed chances to take blocks, and as a consequence, then not only doesn't make the block, but leaves things base for the next turn, which means more hits against.
Yeah, Zons seem like a very fine balancing act to get right between dodging away, basing up and using your blodge, and also, because you generally have a lot of guard, getting in there and sort of almost brawling the opponent, as our friend Riker would like to say.
I'm a brawler. I think Lofty did some stuff that was really good. I sort of, the reason I didn't decide to do the segment on this game in the end is I felt like if either of them wanted to sort of pick up on things that I felt they could have done differently, then my stream is there. I'll be honest and say that. Yeah, I had some people in chat on that game who were spotting things that I weren't. Like Darby was there and some other people were there. So there was some good commentary from chat in that game, I thought. So if either of you want to see plays you maybe missed, I think that would be a helpful one to watch back.
Yeah, it looks like statistically Amazon dodging 53% is
Amazon
not
dodging was really bad.
There was like great. I assume there was some pretty bad like critical fails.
There was like at least 3 failed 3+ dodges that were like the first dodge of the turn when there was other players still to do. So yeah.
Anyway, also armor not particularly good. The lizards
I
there.
would say the lizards weren't rolling many powers at the beginning. At the beginning of the game,
That's
I was
one
thinking they were doing
cooperative
quite-
Crocs. Only one
Yes,
bonehead out of 15 actions.
He did work actually. But there was a good example of that really early in the game. It's actually so there's a really bad death in this game. There's a dead string for Amazon. And it's because the Apo got used saving the Mighty Blow Amazon, and the Mighty Blow Amazon got killed because it was left based on the Crocs when it didn't need to be. It was a follow-up when it should have just been a push away and leave.
Okay. Yeah. All right, well, let's have a look at the teams. So yes, we had dead. It was a strength up block catcher, which has already been replaced.
It was movement busted, so it's at least like something suboptimal, but it's still strength up is good.
I mean, a movement bust on a universal movement 6, like you would know from playing Vamps.
Yeah, it's
movement
bad.
busts
It's bad.
on positionals. Catchers aren't super valuable positionals, I would assume, on Amazon. This is really just all about the blitzers.
Yeah, it's sort of weird.
but even so,
with the catchers,
yeah.
like it's almost like you want to build them as like obstructive pieces with like block and sidestep. So actually, like strength 4 is really good for that role because if you're just
it is still a strength up piece, but movements are hard to stomach when your fastest speed is 6 and you're not like a proper kill team.
If you're talking about Tanik Ivanchuk, the great thrall panda,
Wasn't Tanik
a positional, but a positional in our hearts.
So we did see one level on Zon Fishing on Barracuda 2, who is now Blodge Guard Strength Up Stand Firm.
I like that. I like that level.
Yeah.
That's a really nice roadblock. That's going to be so irritating to play against.
Yeah, that piece is pretty much done.
Yeah, you want Mighty
really
Blow
don't
if you
need
can get
anything
it, because then when you get stuck on stuff, you can hit back.
Yeah. Probably if it gets to its next level, it's probably just taking Mighty Blow or Tackle just as a useful skill, but it's got its main role entirely sorted now.
Yeah, actually I suppose Tackle, because Tackle then means to put on dodge off it either. Yeah, it's good either way.
Albacore is very close to another level. Could be piling on, but it's already picked up guard, so I don't think it will be.
Another stand firm's never bad.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind a jugs, just because if you need to punch a hole, it's sometimes really needed.
Yeah. You could build a frenzy one, but I don't like your main killer being frenzy, because then you sort of haven't got an easy...
I think you could build the other strength up blitzer, Snapper, as a frenzy piece.
Yeah, that's true. Strength up at the frenzy is nice.
Very cool. I feel like we're a lot more guard
You could give
light.
Dauntless, actually. But you need Dauntless when you've got 2 strength 4, maybe not.
Possibly not. It is nice to have on a killer. I really like taking Dauntless on humans. And Amazons are pretty close. But yeah, I feel like there was a lot more guard on this team at the start of the season. Like there was 6 or 7. And now we're down to 4.
And down a strength piece. It's definitely got worse this team, unfortunately.
Let's have a look at Shaitan. Who has already played? Has Shaitan already played? Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know.
Not talk about
Don't know what potentially has come up. I know the level on Adohimundi of the Moon here was the Lofty game. But I don't know if something else has happened since. The Saurus looked the same.
I think there's been an MVP on one that had 0 SPP, which is nice. I think that's what's happened.
Yeah, there has. Just got to get that elusive final SPP to get them block, and then they'll be solid.
Do you know how you could have done that, Pickles? You could have tried to get it on your 5 turns of doing nothing. There wasn't even point blocks with them. I was so annoyed.
Well,
My stream is just basically me complaining at Lofty for the last 5 turns. Not quite Lofty, complaining at Shaitan. Shaitan's playing well though. Look, I mean, Shaitan. Like,
Yeah.
I went after him in the stream and on Discord afterwards, and he told me not to be mean before the game as well. But I'm being more mean to you, Shaitan, if you watch this, because you're doing well. Like, I think a good coach sort of, there's the things that you can do better rather than like me having a go because you're doing a bad job.
Well, speaking of being mean and having a go, game number 2. Oh, was this an interesting game to watch? I think is putting it nicely. Man, this is what I'm covering this week. So now I'm going to actually trigger the sound and graphic when it's supposed to happen.
Thoughts and prayers with Serpickles.
Yeah, a little bit of thoughts and prayers. Okay. I actually immediately need to get rid of that graphic because I know it's about to cover stuff up. So I also need to temporarily ditch the death counter. So
Even though there was a death in this game, if I'm not mistaken.
there was. It's a question as to why there was. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to go through a few things and we'll get to some slides if I remember where they are. There was a wizard and an Apo for Incesticide. Which I thought the Apo was kind of a odd choice. I think the babes, generally if you're like worried about removals in terms of just numbers on field in order to keep an advantage, etc. Babes are better than an Apo. Because with just Mighty Blow or Dirty Play or whatever, i.e. not claw killers, a KO is much more likely.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact stats, but yeah, I thought the Apo choice was a little odd.
I think it depends. Like, I think sometimes you can justify the Apo if it's about protecting certain high value pieces and ones that you won't get hit that much, because you can also then, I think if you have 2 Apos, you have to use it aggressively. Like, you use it even on a KO maybe just to be like, right, this is my way of guaranteeing this really important who hangs around.
Yeah. So yes, we had a Wizard and Apo for Incesticide. It started in a blizzard with the Bretts choosing to take offense, and then the first kickoff switched it to rain. So I think, Ray will be going, oh, good, I'm faster. I can do this in a blizzard, because he'll be rolling more GFIs than I will. I totally get that. And then it switched to rain, so it's like, oh, well, that's a bit shit. Okay, so going straight to my first slide. So turn 1, the first blitz. Mr. Riker. That is on the wrong slide. We've switched over to slide 2. There we go. Okay. Do we see what the problem is here?
I've only just got it up.
I'll give you a hint. I've circled it.
So this is the blitz. Okay. Hang on. Oh, sorry. I thought I misunderstood. I thought you said it was a blitz play.
Sorry, no, the blitz on turn 1, not a kickoff. Yeah, the actual blitz action.
Are we coming all the way around? Yeah, okay. No, you're going to blitz that player in front. Yeah, that's exactly. It's an obvious frenzy trap. You're going to leave yourself based next to the killer.
Yep. So he does that. Doesn't dodge away, even though the ball was safe. He probably should have risked the dodge away so he didn't just stand next to a claw piece. That frenzied blitzer gets Kaz'd immediately. Just takes one hit from that Mighty Blow claw off the pitch.
Riker,
I think he was just badly hurt. Yeah, it was just badly hurt, but, you know.
So hang on, but you had a second Apo and you didn't use it on that.
No, Incesticide had the second Apo. Riker only had 1.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, that's even weirder then. All right, yeah.
Yeah. Your assessment of the Lofty Shytown game, in that you were disappointed that Shytown wasn't more greedy when he'd already won. Both of these coaches were greedy from turn 1.
Nice. Nice.
Incesticide greed re-rolled on turns 1 and 2, leaving him 1 re-roll by turn 3.
Do you know what? Lofty did
Or it
that
might have been
as
1
well
and
through
3.
greedy
I remember
roll.
on
Didn't
turn
have
4
invention
seeing it,
drive.
but yeah. Sorry, what was that? I spoke over you.
I should have said that with Lofty as well. That was the other main problem, was used his rerolls on the first drive by like turn 4 or something, all of them, and you think, yeah, you need them later.
I've just got a series of dot points. I'm not sure how many of these I've got slides for. But yes, we had Incesticide greed rerolls turn 1, does KO the Dirty Player Peasant. Riker returns the greed reroll to Kaz a Warrior, pulling out the first of 2 Appos.
Nice.
It was successful, so the Warrior was fine on that one. Incesticide greed rerolls again on turn 2, leaving him down to 1 reroll already. Riker greeds again turn 3, putting him down to 2, but he doesn't get anything from it because he has to wrestle down with the blocker because it's got wrestle instead of block. Yeah, it was interesting. Then there was some dump off plays, and boy did they not work. I think the next slide is the dump off. Okay, here's the dump off.
I would be disappointed there weren't, to be fair. If I was watching a Riker game and I didn't get some dump off magic, I'd be disappointed.
Oh, there was some magic, just not good magic for Riker. So, we've commented on this before, that why was it accurate instead of pass? Because you know what would be great on a dump off? A reroll. Let's all say it together. A reroll is better than a +1.
Yeah.
Objectively. I am so down for fringe jank pieces, Riker. But if you're gonna do them so they're good at that thing. Like, if you want to build a dump-off style play, make it good at dump-off. Either with pass, or hell, even Nerves of Steel would have mattered in the second one.
There is almost no situation in which accurate is better. It's better if you need to punt and you just need to make a pass and it doesn't matter if it's accurate.
Yeah.
Even then, I'm not sure if it's better, because the reroll's good. I don't know. Yeah, the reroll's good. Rerolls are really good, especially on a play that goes on your opponent's turn, so you can't use a team reroll on it.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the dump off didn't work on the first one. I believe this was only a 1 GFI hit with Rackle, so it was entirely a baited dump off that then the player fumbled. Have I got the pickup? Because my next note, I don't. That's the second dump off. So we'll get to that in a second. So Riker, after the ball bounces around a bit on the floor, pretty much in that area, for I think it might be like a turn or 2, goes for a 6+ pickup. And when it doesn't work, he re-rolls it, i.e., I think using his second last re-roll. It doesn't work, but it bounces off a Chaos Warrior and then magnet hands into the piece that tried to pick it up. It was... Oh. There's a difference between playing risky, as in like high risk, high reward, and then just choosing bad ideas in terms of a competitive sense. I know Riker's far more about the fun side of it, but this is a competitive league, so I think everyone, to some extent, wants to win.
And Riker is winning. Riker's on good form.
Yeah, but it was funny, though. It was pretty funny. So yeah, I believe what was this turn of the next dump off? Oh, it was immediately So this dump off, after fumbling a 6+ pickup and then magnet handsing it, tries to dump off via the yellow arrow, and it's inaccurate, and the Agi goat catches it.
Oh my god. That's a quality dump off. That's dump off.
Yeah, that's some dump off magic. Just not quite the dump off magic that Riker was hoping for. But here's an example of where instead of accurate, maybe it was nerves of steel. Then this wouldn't have been inaccurate, and it would have gone straight to the other guy. To be fair, this was a 5+ catch. There was a 4+ catch available on the left. One of them has catch, one doesn't. So, much of a muchness. But yeah, this
the 4+ is probably a slightly better position actually. If you want to make the cards and be able to catch, it's kind of a better place for it to be on the floor.
I believe the Blitzer does have blodge though, and I don't know what this blocker is over here right now. I got rid of the skills so I could actually capture what was happening here.
Yeah, it's hard to show the games with sometimes with the skills, and there's a lot. And Riker does have a lot of skills.
Tells you to get rerolls. Yeah, get rerolls. Or NOS. NOS is even better than accurate.
I'm just saying there's different game situations to think about.
If they were somehow in the same square, by all means throw to the player with catch. But the blocker's in a better position.
It's just, thinking about the next step. Because if all I was saying is just if that blocker drops it, which is very likely, then it's still a very hard recovery for the chaos. Whereas if the blitzer drops it,
and it bounces left at all, it's far better for chaos. So yes, that was some classic dump off magic. I think the next thing was the Brett recovery from that magical dump off. So the yellow was a potential chain push to get the ball in a spot where the blitzer following the green line, where the green line starts, is actually the Agi 4-1, so he's dodging on 2+.
Okay.
We had, actually, can I go to, where's the pointer? Ah, there we go.
Oh, I see. So you'd have to do you block with the one that's on the corner first, and then the green line is you'd follow it.
We block, and then we shove the ball up here, and then we can one die it with 2+ dodges. Pretty decent. I'm guessing Riker missed it. He ends up chaining down and to the right, and then 2+ dodge, 2+ dodge, red die the ball because this warrior has guard. But it worked anyway. You can actually see the block dice because I rewound it at the bottom. He rolled a power and a stumbles, and then cased the Agi goat, and then cased the goat down here.
I do enjoy the drama. I do enjoy the drama. I wish I could roll like this sometimes, but I do enjoy the drama.
It's the flip side of results-based analysis, where you should go, well, I rolled poorly, so it didn't matter what I did there, even if it was the wrong thing. This is Riker does a lot of the wrong things, and it all works out incredibly for him anyway. There was much better ways to do this. And that is a bit of a theme, because that continues. There was... I've just got a list here. There was a couple of turns later, you took a GFI on a blitz when you didn't have a reroll, when there was a dodge with inbuilt dodge. After a blitz using one of the knights, you could, again, dodge away on a 1 in 9, but instead you stood there and gave up a free surf. And then Riker manages a 6+ pickup without reroll and dodges out to score on turn 8. It was...
Did you just say 6+?
Yep, 6+.
Okay.
It was a Agi 3 in the rain. The ball was in 2 tackle zones, which is a 6+.
I feel like Incesticide might have been mad at that point.
Oh, yeah. And I totally get that. But what Incesticide did in the second half was really disappointing. So, yeah, that score, understandably, you'd be a bit cheesed off if you're Incesticide.
Yeah.
What's the next slide? Oh, this is the start and end of a turn from Incesticide on turn 10. So this is where he starts off, and then he ends up here, which is really pushed to one side. It is also, even though there's some guard here, with Dauntless, there's 3 blocks available on 2 die, which essentially just really would hem him in.
Yeah.
But our Chaos Warrior on the right-hand side here, he's the one who gets Kaz'd by the downed killer. And it was an AV bust, which gets appoed, and death is offered. And I don't know if it was a misclick, but I don't know why you wouldn't take the AV bust, because that's still a good player. 5, 4, 3, 8, block, Mighty Blow, Claw. I don't know why you would choose dead.
Especially not when you already have one that you need to rebuild. Maybe if you had 3 perfect warriors and you think, fine, I'll just start a fresh one.
Yeah,
I still don't know if I agree with it, but at least I could sort of see it.
I don't know. Yeah, did Riker, did he say anything to you, like, in-game about whether that was misclicked, or... Because that is that's a perfectly fine warrior. It's you know, it is slightly worse, obviously. But I see no reason not to keep that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a...
It was an intentional choice. Yeah, okay. So Incesticide was just full tilt mode, because the turn after this, after the Brett turn, Incesticide spite bolts the Brett killer, then ends turn, and just soft concedes from there out.
Yeah.
Even though it was a bad loss, but it was the only perm that had happened. But, I mean, there was, you know, whilst pre-game I'd be like, 2 appos is weird, it ended up being a good thing, because he saved, I think, the first one where the first appo came out was also a perm, and that appo worked. But the numbers were even. The Chaos had the ball. It was 9v9 at the start of turn 11. The Chaos had the ball, and they were only down 1-0. He chooses to spite bolt and then just soft concede. Which, I get being super salty, but that might be the most pixel huggy I've ever seen a coach. Like 1 perm when they instantly give up the game, even though it's well from over. Soft conceding is one thing when you're like 4 or 5 players left, they're all on the floor and the ball's on the other side of the pitch. But when you have the ball and it's only 1-0 down, you're even on numbers, it was disappointing.
I've just understood a comment you made during my game earlier, when I did have, I think, 3 players on the pitch, and I was still getting up to block. I was still trying. I do, like, even though we joke about, even though I joke about, like, no one feels sorry for kill coaches, like, I do feel sorry for Incesticide. We're all just people playing a silly game with fantasy pieces on a board, right? We're all just trying to have fun. And I feel like clearly his season has stopped being fun, and that's sad. Like, I don't like that. Like, that's not, doesn't make me happy. But I do think, like, yeah, I think with Chaos in particular, like, you have to take the rough with the smooth. Like, you're building a team that's specifically to kill things, and you do get in these sort of brawls, you are going to have things exposed as well. I like totally agree with you that piece is fine. You don't need to kill it. You still have a really good team, and this game situation does not look anything like Lost. And I worry that, that moment of frustration, allowing yourself to click the death dice, now really will make the rest of the season as fun. Because you could have still used that piece in the last couple of games.
Yeah. Like, I think the positioning he was in, it was a bit hard because he moved so far to one side, but he could have easily pushed down the sideline entirely because there was only the two peasants that you can currently see on screen in front of him. Nothing else was actually in front on this sideline by the end of the Brett turn.
And you've got a movement up, dodge, like, Beastman. Like, there's definitely a chance that you can get the score there.
Yeah.
It's not perfect, but you definitely could score.
Yeah, so that was the game.
I'm sorry, I doubt Incesticide is going to watch this because it seems like they're pretty bummed. And I, if you do watch Incesticide, I'm sorry that your season is going in such a sad way. Like, it's not, that sucks. Like, we've all been there and it sucks. But yeah, I still think the team doesn't need giving up on, personally. Like, I think even with that being dead, there's still the core of a good Chaos team here, and it's better than some of the Chaos teams in the higher divisions.
But yeah, it was disappointing to see him do that because I think he was still very much in the game. And I have a summary statement because that was it for like notes on this game. Nothing else happened. Was the whole game was pretty disappointing. Riker, even though your play is not your builds aren't optimal and you go for a different style, I think you actually played pretty poorly. And I've noted here it was the luckiest game of Blood Bowl I've ever seen from anyone.
That's a big shout.
I've seen you play so much better. Even in your high risk style, I've seen you play so much better. And this felt like kind of mistake after mistake, and yet it all worked out for you. And Incesticide being salty, I understand, but soft conceding I was very disappointed by, because Incesticide played greedy, tried to get removals, didn't, and then Raker's dice happened and he soft conceded a game that I think would have been not a comfortable draw, but a situation where the most likely result was he scored late in the half and it was a draw. Yeah. So yeah, I want to emphasize that it might come across as a bit brutal, but I wanted to get very matter of fact about why things didn't work, and sort of things to improve upon, because ideally my goal is education, and if we can't see where we make mistakes, we're never going to learn from them. And it's very easy for me sitting in this seat as an outside observer to find all of those. And it's the same of everyone else's play.
Like the mean recap team. Like, are the other recappers all nicer than us and we're just mean?
I think we're pretty much the only educational recap team. If I'd said everything I said without, like, you know, graphic evidence and showing better ways of things should have happened, then yeah, we're the mean recap team. But I think we've got it covered.
Ever since Shytown taught me to be nice on my stream, I was like, oh no, did Div 3 all hate my recaps for being too mean? Probably not.
I mean, yeah, no one likes if it's stuck with meaty pickles for 2 seconds. No one likes their mistakes being pointed out, but
yeah,
if no one points out our mistakes, we're never going to learn and grow and get better. And like the higher standard of play we can put into the REBBL, the more excited people are going to be, like us in general, are going to be to play each other, because it's going to be really good games, really competitive. And also the more people we're going to get, like more new people we get in. So yeah.
If you ever want to feel better about me being mean, just go and watch one of my games, because like today I played so badly. Like, you can just like watch it and be like, she doesn't know what the hell she's talking. So yeah, there's your choice. Oh wow. Sorry, I just saw a report from our division. That's off topic, sorry.
Oh yeah, because there was a game happening pretty much during this, wasn't there?
Bruce had a rough time. I'm going to just say that and leave it there.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's the end of that segment. What I thought would be a very interesting game ended up being kind of just a bit disappointing. Very, very odd, and honestly, infuriating with how easily Riker rolled some ridiculous dice. But, yeah, a disappointing end is probably a better way of saying it. It was very interesting up until turn 11. Oh, I didn't mention, the spite bolt on the Brett blocker didn't work. It was a 1.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think that kind of sealed the deal of you know what,
Tipping over the edge.
instead of like going, you know what, I'm a spite bolt that thing, so I don't have to deal with it, and then it ones, and he goes, well, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely been there before.
Mhm.
So yeah, I totally sympathize, but I think emotion got the better of incesticide at the end there. That is that game. Let's jump back over to here. Get that death counter back up, because there was one in this game, though it was kind of odd that there was. So yeah, very block heavy. Well, 41 to 41 isn't actually that many, but it was very brawly, which no one is surprised by. It being a Riker game.
Mhm.
Um,
10 SVP for the Black Dog. That's quite a game. I guess the MVP.
yeah,
Responded to that.
yeah, yeah. MVP was part of that. I think he got one of the scores and the Kaz, and then the
Yeah.
MVP. Yeah. Anything standing out in the dice log? The dice log doesn't look that ridiculous when you go, oh, it was in rain. But then you go, wait, one of the successful pickups was a 6+. It's like,
Yeah.
Oh, you probably noticed this at the time, Riker. But there was once, maybe twice? No, just once. Where you re-rolled a Dauntless when you already had 2 dice from assists. I think it was when the game was done, as in like we were partway through the soft concede. But yeah, like re-rolled the Dauntless even though you already had 2 die. It's kind of weird. So be careful of those. I think block dice were mostly normal. It was a little heavy on pushes for Incesticide in the first few turns, I think. And because he was a bit greedy with those, I think it was turns 4 and 5 or 5 and 6, where he opened up with, on one of them opened up with a dub skull, and then I think the latter one, the third block was a dub skull. And yeah, because he was greedy early, meant he didn't have rerolls for those situations where, like that at that point, the play was a mess. Like it had gone full brawl. The ball kept ending up on the floor. And yeah, an extra reroll or 2 might have made a huge difference for the chaos. Let's have a look at the teams.
I think what stands out there is just how few blocks there are for the chaos. Like that's probably a sign of the surrender at the end. But yeah,
Yeah,
I expect like
I
in a good
think-
game for the chaos more.
I think after the soft concede, there was probably 7 or 8 blocks thrown from the Bretts.
Yeah.
Speaking of, let's have a look at the Bretts. So no levels, and there was an AV bust on the Agi blocker. This did happen pretty early, so it certainly makes sense not to Apo that, unfortunately. I think it was, I want to say turn 3 or turn 4. And he still had all of his blitzers and his main killer on the pitch. So yeah, been unlucky. But I imagine he'll stay around just because he's agi up.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit frustrating on a piece as guard, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I could probably argue that one either way, actually. Maybe see what the next level is. Maybe the next level you can roll an armor up and fix it.
I assume next level, if he's not going... He's probably going tackle next? That would make a good rackle piece. That isn't the killer, because the killer tends to be on the floor. Riker definitely seems to subscribe to the Gengar theory of piling on, where you've got piling on, so you pile on every time.
So you click it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it certainly turned... It, I think, once turned a non-break on a warrior into a Kaz, and it might have been that final one. I think that was a non-break, then he piled on and permed it.
Wow.
So yeah, sometimes it just works.
Yeah.
It was a ridiculous game of dice. Right. But definitely should be an option to make piling on automatic. You just need like
I wonder if piling on should just be automatic, like Frenzy. Like, I know in the new edition they basically just sort of killed it, but that would have been a way to sort of counter everyone who thinks it's too good. Just like make it automatic like Frenzy, then it's a really like hard decision whether or not you give it to a killer. Like if it doesn't break armor, you have to use it. If the first one doesn't break armor.
Yeah, that could be interesting. But it's not going to be in the new edition anyway, and boy, am I happy about that.
I actually really like the version of the new edition where it's like it kind of exists, but it's a foul instead of a regular block. I think that's fun. I think that's like thematically fun. I think it's good.
Yeah. So yeah, no levels on Incesticide's team either, and we lost a block Mighty Blow Claw Warrior. Yeah, we've expressed we don't particularly agree with that, but I think Incesticide sounds like it. Like, having the season be over is one thing, but by choosing the death, I am gonna guess that he's gonna re-roll.
Or just not come back. This team is easily rebuildable. This team is easily rebuildable. You've got lots of good players in this team. Doesn't have to be finished at all.
Like, yeah, I'd say this team's Vidoka's team has some good pieces, but overall, if that warrior was still here, I'd say this team was probably better.
I think this team is better than Vordoka's team right now. The team that I just played. Vordoka has like a nice strength 4 beastman.
Yeah, he's got a strength 4 and he's got the leaping agi one, which is pretty good.
Yeah, but then movement up's really good as well.
Yeah.
And you've got 2 Mighty Blow Claw blockers, which he doesn't have. So yeah, I think this team's better than the team I just lost to. So.
But yeah, that was game number 2. Let's move on to game number 3. Synergy against Bowen. We had some damage in this one. A 2-1 win to the Necro. Man, that wolf has accelerated so quickly, almost to its next level. I think it was like 2 weeks ago he was like, hey, I rolled a Mighty Blow Wolf, and now it's almost at the next level.
Synergy's doing a really good job getting development, given the situation as well.
Man. 49 blocks to 36. That's a lot of blocks from Necro. Especially against Orcs. But Bowen's Orcs are pretty guard light for Orcs. So yeah, it looks like...
I saw the beginning of this. I didn't see all of it. Synergy was definitely saying, like, because Bowen made some mistakes last week against Finn. Bowen played better in this game, but I think there was still, from what I saw, some positioning that... Oh, sorry, it's my dog. I'll have to get that. Some positioning that wasn't great. I'll be back in a second.
It's a weird sounding dog. Usually when there's a loud noise, I'm expecting a woof. Maybe the dog has like an alarm clock stuck in its throat. No, it's definitely not a doorbell. It's definitely a dog. I know my dogs.
How happy is everyone that my dog is currently away? I had to get a friend to look after him because I have been working so hard
Just
this week.
commenting to chat how that was a weird sounding dog.
Yeah. It's yeah. My dog is coming back this afternoon, but yeah, I had too much work this week, so I had to get a friend to look after him for a couple of days. So good for Chat. Chat didn't get deafened with that doorbell.
Pretty good block dice for synergy here. That's quite a lot of powers. Actually, it's kind of just light on both downs, really.
Yeah. Kind of light on pushes too. No, that's a lot of powers.
Very polarizing. And then Bowen's block dice, quite heavy on pushes.
These are still shits and giggles. Oh no, wait, hang on. Yes, things so on my. Yeah, the opposite.
Casualty dice not good for either side. And 4. Yeah, 4 failures for Bowen, 3 for synergy, and injury dice pretty bad for synergy.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with Sin's Necro. Like, whenever I'm watching Sin's Necro, it's like as soon as they get hit, they disappear.
Yeah, I think
He
they're
makes
the
it work.
least
He still wins
stable
games,
Necro
but-
team I've ever seen.
Yeah. Like, it's just like, oh, that's it on a white. Okay, it's injured. Okay, it's not regen.
Speaking of, let's have a look at the team. So we had a white got MNG'd. Snicker Salad, he's otherwise fine, but MNG'd. The guard block zombie, Fishy Gaffor, is now niggled, which is a bit unlucky. Because he's a very good piece to just throw into a scrum, but far more likely to leave the pitch now. And then we had a level.
Yeah.
What is it on?
That's a tricky one.
birds.
I assume you still keep that even with a niggle, but it's. What do you? You've got 2 other guard zombies. I don't know. Niggles are annoying.
And Berg's McHeehaw here, the ghoul, now has block.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's a good goal.
And yeah, Palmy Palava is racing towards level 6.
That's crazy how you're right, how fast that's happened. It's been really
Yeah.
fast.
If you're still here, when you were here earlier, when did you get this wolf? Because I feel like it was level 2 this season. Or I
Oh,
could just be
definitely this
thinking of
season.
you last season because I...
No, it's definitely this season. I remember
Definitely
that
this season?
happening because Synergy's team was looking sort of beat up, and then the 2 wolves, you got the strength one and the mighty blow one, like right next to each other. I'm certain that was this season.
Yeah, I can't remember where it started. I feel like it's already gotten 2 or 3 levels so far in just 8 weeks. Which is racing
Well,
along.
also the strength one's going pretty fast. It's nearly the 3rd level, so
Yeah. Yeah. Doing some
stupid necro.
good work. So Bowen's Orcs. The Cow Squig Raiders, they had Subney got MNG'd, so doesn't have a ball carrier this week. And Goraf, his main killer, got movement busted. Those are some rough perms. Oh, right,
Yeah,
it's a
they
rough perm.
are.
There's a rough losses, even if one of them is only for 1 week. She's Subney just MNG'd? Yeah, okay. Yeah, Bowen's going to have a rough next game, which I think is against Panda by how happy he was. Yeah, made next game much easier. So yeah, there's not much for Bowen going into this week. He is down to 1450, but is against Panda, so Panda's probably still getting a small amount of inducements.
Yeah, that's a good break for Panda. 2 tackle gone. That's
Yeah.
very good. 2 tackle and
The
both
2
the sort of
mighty blow
scarier
tackle on the
ones.
team.
Yeah. Things are kind of breaking your way at the moment, Panda. I'm seeing these Skaven on a roll.
Alrighty. Congrats to Synergy on a 2-1 win. And sure hands, yeah, that's true. No sure hands against rats.
Yeah.
So on to game
Speaking of rats,
number 4. Speaking of rats, It's time for our returning segment.
It's time for another unsolved mystery.
Well, I'm stumped. Take it away.
Panda saying he only won against Jorfs because he was tipped against. I would argue you won against Jorfs because the Jorfs made some very questionable decisions. This was an interesting game when you just look at the outcome. 4-1, you think, well, that can happen. You've got rats, you've got a natural 1 turner. But then the Chaos Dwarfs copped a couple of injuries, and I don't know if the rats took any casualties. If they did, it was just one. I'm just going to double check that. Two injuries for the Chaos Dwarfs and none for the rats. So I had an idea in my head of how this game might go, and it involved a lot of fouling. It involved a lot of sort of like rats getting on top early with numbers. This is not particularly what happened. Let's go to the first slide and talk stuff. I'm a little bit behind on my feed, so
First slide is on screen.
maybe. Excellent. Okay, so this is the Chaos Dwarfs' first turn. I was going to ask you, Pickles, to sort of say, hey, what do you think happens here? So the Chaos Dwarfs have taken their blocks. They've had 4 blocks, and look, the rats did get some luck, I think, with armor, because it's been 4 mighty blow hits and nothing has even been
Wow,
stunned.
yeah.
So
Not even a
that's
stun.
definitely-
That is pretty lucky.
Yeah, not even an armor break. So I think the rats definitely throughout the game did pretty well on the armor dice. But you've already seen the next slide, so maybe this doesn't work. I kind of want to ask you what
I
you
didn't
think
look at them
happens next here.
closely, but just looking at
Okay.
this, I would say a gutter runner steals the ball. Because the ball is not
That's true, but
protected.
That's true, but not yet. And listen, starting formation for the Chaos Dwarfs, I hate. I'm not going to talk about it now because this keeps being the starting formation, and I can highlight it better on a slide I've got later.
Okay.
I'm looking at this situation after the blocks have been taken, and I'm assuming that Bull is going to go and pick that ball up, presumably with some cover in front of it first. Instead, if we go to the second slide,
Mm-hmm.
this is where we end up. Now, as you can see, that ball is not where it was initially. What has happened is Zygmunt has moved one piece back to cover, the Wrestle Hobgoblin. They've left the guard block Hobgoblin in a very inviting place for a mighty blow hit. And then they have tried to throw a pass with the guard Hobgoblin to the Bull Centaur. I do understand wanting to get a vanity pass early in a drive and get some SVP. That guard Hobgoblin is on 10, so it's not like a critical one.
I was
but
about to
okay,
ask,
fine.
was it for a level? Because
No.
even though I
It's
still
to get
wouldn't
you
agree
within-
with it, I could at least understand the motivation.
It's to get it within MVP range. But yeah, you're playing against Skaven, who have a movement 10 piece on the pitch. The failure state of this play is very, very bad. And you haven't done everything that you could even to cover it. Like, if you really want to do this, I think you at least have to bring back either the Bull Centaur or the dirty player that's behind the line.
Yeah, because they
and
hadn't moved,
create
had
a
they?
proper screen in front of it. No.
Let me go back a slide. Yeah, they hadn't moved.
Yeah. So you at least create a proper screen in front of it to prepare for the failure state, because there is a failure state. They hadn't moved, and neither has the guard block Hobgoblin. So you have plenty of players that you can use to create a better screen. I would have wanted to bring the guard Hobgoblin back because it's such an obvious blitz target as well. So I hate this. I'm sorry. Like I don't
Yeah,
want to sort of
I just think-
be mean, but like this is just like, it's giving me flashbacks to when I've played against Skaven teams and had bad dice rolls. Like, this situation is just that's going to be the Skaven ball. You know it is. Like, I don't have to ask you what happens next here, because it's obvious.
Just
That
reading
ball is going to
Ultimo in
end up in a
chat.
gutter runner's hand.
But yeah,
What's up? What's
golden
in chat?
rule for everybody. Don't vanity pass against Skaven. Ever.
I mean, yeah. First of all, that especially if it's not even going to get you a guaranteed level. Yeah, the step from 10 to 11 is good, but it's not that good.
Yeah, Panda's
And if you're
totally right.
going
This
to
is a
do it,
Skaven dream. Vanity passing on Agi 3.
and if you're going to do it, cover it really thoroughly. Like, do not do this. So if we go to the next slide, so as you can see, exactly what I've predicted has happened.
That guard
The gutter runner has the ball. And the guard hobgoblin is gone because yes, a mighty blitz happened. Now again, good dice for the rats. I think that I can definitely imagine Sigmund being kind of cheesed off about what's happened here because he's taken 4 mighty blow hits and got no armor breaks. The first Skaven hit has injured, not just KO'd, injured a hobgoblin. It's annoying. It happens. I actually don't love Panda's play here either. Getting the ball, yes, obviously. But the circled players, the ones in red have moved at this point. The ones in blue haven't, but the ones in red all could have been moved differently. I think I would want to see at least one player. Doesn't have to be an overcommit, but I'd like to see at least one player come down to give you a chance for next turn because you've used all of your movement to pick the ball up. So that's going to get hit next turn. You know it's going to get hit next turn. And I think I would like to see you give yourself a chance at least to recover the ball if the Chaos Wolves can't pick it up.
Yeah, or even just getting 1 or 2 to sort of do a half screen in this big like diagonal divide.
Yeah, like I think personally I would have wanted to do to bring a few down and create that screen because you're splitting the team and splitting a team is always good against Agi 3 slow teams. It's always good. But even if it was just one player, I'd feel better about it. And instead the black line is the next move, which is a dodge by that loner journeyman that fails. So I think there's a missed opportunity here for the Skaven, if I'm being honest. It doesn't matter because of what happens next. I understand not wanting to get brawling, but you're going to get brawled. Like, you're going to get hit. So you don't have to base anything. Definitely don't base anything. But I think you're being a bit too cautious. I think you could still have put something here that's going to be hard to blitz well.
I think definitely the issue that Tree is pointing out is the guys in red, because I can totally understand doing this dodge before moving the blue circled players, because that's Glant and a Gutter. And having them back because you're going to get hit is probably a good idea. But depending on how much movement the red circled players had, I think they could have put a lot of pressure on the back of the LOS so that they couldn't really get through, or if they did, it was sloppy and the Gutter could potentially again get the ball.
Yeah, so like the left of the red circle players is a lineman that's just moved like 1 square, so it could have come way down in front. I think here's the thing. I think if Sigmund plays his next turn better, you lose this opportunity. I think this chance that you've got to turn over and score is gone if Sigmund plays his next turn, as he should, which he doesn't. So let's go to the next slide.
Next slide.
I'm just bringing it up for myself. Okay, so this is the beginning of the next turn. That gutter runner has wrestle. Sigmund, take it. Like, you still have to recover this ball. Like, you've got it on the floor. It's not your dream. I understand your dream is to get it and well, as we're going to see, your dream is to get it and insist on madness. But but the ball's on the floor. Like, I think your most important priority here should be to pick the ball up, get it on one of the hobgoblins is fine. You've got the bull centaur free and the hobgoblin free behind the line. Right, but that's the problem. He wants the vanity pass to that bull centaur. So he rerolls this and it's fine. He gets a knockdown. Let's go to the next slide. Gets the knockdown, but he's used his reroll. So now when he tries the vanity pass again...
Oh, he actually did. Oh.
Yes.
It is better because it's further back, it's more protected, and that gutter is stunned.
Yeah, so after the reroll, gets the stun on the gutter runner, picks the ball up, and tries to vanity pass again. It's a very bad scatter from the vanity pass. I mean, that's literally throwing it backwards. But this is kind of highlights the situation that I was saying, Panda. Like, I mean, probably he wouldn't have tried it, I guess, if you brought players down. But this, if you had brought players down, is just your score. Like, it's easy. if there's anything in range. Things work out for you still, but I think having some other rats able to do something here, I would have really wanted. I don't get it, Sigmund. I'm sorry. Like, you just seen what can happen against Skaven. I can see that you look at this and go, all right, well, now it's stunned and the ball's kind of safe-ish, but I don't know. I just think it's too greedy. And it clearly didn't work. So that's the situation we end up from here. We can keep skipping ahead. I have lots of slides, but
Yeah.
they can all be quick.
So I think I want to add to that. It's a bit too greedy, and it's not greedy because it's probably not going to get picked up again by the rats the next turn. But it essentially gives them another turn to get in position again.
Yes, exactly. And you've still got to pick it up again. You've got to roll those
like
3
if you fail it again,
fail.
suddenly that gutter's not stunned and it's right there.
Yeah. And you know what? He fails a rotten dice in this next turn. So yeah, if we're on the next slide.
Yeah, on the next slide.
This is a rotten dice fail. It's a rotten dice fail, but once again, it's sort of not good turn ordering. As you can see, Panda has brought down 2 players on the right-hand side, the 2 rats. Do I have any sort of thoughts on that? What are we on, side 6? Oh yeah, I said I didn't love Panda's turn ordering here. You can't see it because I haven't really highlighted it, but Panda moved the blitzer down right away and then didn't move that second rat down until after taking a loner block on the other side of the pitch. It doesn't matter because the loner block is a success, but if you're going to bring 2 players down, do it before taking the loner block. There was nothing that changed in the state of play after that loner block that changes that decision. So you just sort of need to decide if you're going to do it and do it rather than waiting until you've thrown some dice that could certainly fail. But if we're going to talk about turn ordering, it's definitely Zygmunt's turn ordering here that kills me a bit. Like, his first move is to move that strength up Chaos Dwarf into base both players. Great, I like it. His second move is to take a GFI with the bull. It's incredibly unlucky. It's a 1 in 36. But you have so many more players you can move before you do that.
They happen. And they happen
and they do
a lot.
happen. Yeah. Like I've done this before. I've done this. I don't know if I've done it this season. I definitely did. I remember a situation last season where I did something just like this. You think, I'll just throw this 2+ because it's fine. It's got the reroll built in. But over and over again in this drive, you've given the Skaven a chance to pick the ball up, and Skaven are really good at getting the ball. And yeah, bring some of these Chaos Dwarfs back. Bring the Hobgoblins across and cover the ball. Put at least 1 player over that ball before you roll a dice, because what happens is that's a snake. The Skaven can then easily block away that blocker, even though it's strength 4, because they've got players that can come in and assist. And the Storm Vermin picks it up and scores. And so it's like the problem for Zygmunt in this drive is it's just like it keeps happening. Like, it's okay to sort of be a bit sort of too risky on one turn maybe, but it's like there's just like a whole sequence of decisions over and over again that give the rats a chance. The dice are bad. The dice favor the rats certainly through this drive, maybe even through the whole game.
But they shouldn't have those opportunities in the first place.
Yeah, and I think it's just also avoidable to me. Like, it's also avoidable. So yeah, I think this drive I found incredibly frustrating to watch. From the point of view of like the Chaos Dwarfs just could have handled it much better. And I'm sorry if that is mean. Maybe I am being mean, but like I found it really frustrating because I think actually even after the initial turn goes wrong, you had lots of opportunities to save this drive. And you didn't take them, which is frustrating. So if we go to the next slide, can't remember what the next one is. Let's have a quick look at my notes.
I think it's about the setup. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So what's frustrating here is that I feel like Zygmunt, even at this point, still kind of hasn't learned any lessons from what's happened. The setup, which was the same on every one of the kickoffs, there were 4 kickoffs. I hate it. You're playing a really fast team and you've got nothing wide. If there's a blitz, that's just the Skaven ball. It's just like, yeah,
Like
almost any blitz.
there's guard on the Chorfs, and the Hobgoblins can at least just stand vaguely in the sidelines. It's not going to be perfect against a blitz, but it's going to do something.
Yeah. Like almost anywhere the ball goes with movement 10, the Skaven can have a chance to get down on it. So like it's just like any blitz kills you. And blitzes happen. Then the decisions after, so it's a high kick. You will not be surprised on the high kick that the dark blue line, the guard hobgoblin goes for it to try and get that pass, I guess still. Doesn't make the catch, which I'm sure Sigmund was really frustrated by. This starting formation though, just to sort of finish that thought actually about the width. You've made like this really long straight line in the middle that I don't understand. So the blue line again is where the guard hobgoblins come from. There's another hobgoblin that's behind the bull centaur, and I don't know why. I don't know what he's doing there. It's like one long straight line.
Because if you're playing to Vanity Pass, why do you need another one back there?
Yeah, I don't know what that hobgoblin does. Like I don't get his role. I don't think you need to even have 2 players this deep, and certainly having 3 this deep feels really unnecessary when again you haven't given yourself any width.
I think 2 deep is good to prevent the rats flooding the ball carrier.
Yeah.
Even without vanity passing, if you just go and pick it up and only the bull is back there, if enough rats break through, it's a bull that's agi 3 and no break tackle.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see a reason for 2 back there.
And then when this does move forward, the light blue line, it moves only 1 square over from the wrestle piece, and it could be 2. And you've just you leave these 2 spaces here just wide open. I think leaving 2 wide areas against a team that fast with nothing in them is just too easy for Skaven.
With this light blue hobgoblin moving forward, you can just look at this gutter. That's a straight line, losing no movement to just do a 2+ dodge with dodge to get around it.
Yeah, and what's also happened here is again more bad luck. The Sigmund rolls a double skull on his line blocks, but there's still no more attempt to put more cover on this ball before throwing more blocks. Like you've just rolled 2 1 in 36s. You've rolled it on a GFI and then you've rolled it on a block, so you know they can happen, and you're still not covering that ball with any more than 1 player, and it just it goes as you think it will. The Skaven get the ball, they score again. It's 2-0 on your drive, and I don't know, like maybe Sigmund just had given up at this point a little bit, but there were so many ways to make this less likely, even if the dice were bad. So this was a pretty horrible first half for Sigmund. Got punished for these mistakes. And then if we just go to the last slide, I won't sort of go through everything else after this because there's so much else in this game, but I think it sort of follows the same pattern. But the last slide is Sigmund does score on the 3rd drive. Actually gets quite lucky to score because at the end with no rerolls it needs a 4+ handoff and a 3+ dodge and all 3 GFIs to score with no reroll on the bull centaur, so scores. And then this is the 1-turn defense. I don't know if it's again just like I've lost the game and I don't care. Maybe it is. And I also appreciate that defending against a natural 1-turner is almost impossible to do a great defense, right?
Yeah.
I think against a natural 1-turner you just make the line and you do it deep.
Yeah, it's either you make the line or you flood the LOS. Like they're kind of both viable because it's like, well, either you have to roll like significantly more dice that are easier by standing at the back, or if you can put enough players on the LOS in the wings, you can go less dice, but your catch is going to be harder.
Yeah.
So not much you can do. but this is not it.
But this is just like, yeah, like just catch the ball and score. There's nothing. There's nothing.
Yeah, Zigman is
hard.
definitely on the back foot here because the pandas, the rats have scored twice, and they've still got a wizard, so they're definitely ahead. But one series of LOS blocks from Chorfs with Mighty Blow, even though the Mighty Blow hasn't fired, it's very easy to get 3 or 4 breaks in one turn against rats.
Definitely. As it happens, this is actually a riot. So Panda has 2 turns to score.
Oh.
Which he uses. But this would be the easiest 1 turn possible if it wasn't. It's going to be 2+ to pick the ball up. I think the kick's quite deep, so maybe it'd be a 3+ pass, but 2+, 3+, and then some more 2+s. So yeah, this was not a great day. I feel like in 2 games we've highlighted for Bash coaches who sort of couldn't get the removals they wanted, and then just sort of gave up. It felt like when they didn't have to. But yeah, that's all of my mysteries. My mysteries are all basically not understanding why Zygmunt took certain decisions.
Let's play the jingle again.
It's time for another unsolved mystery.
Well, I'm stumped. Oh, yeah.
And yeah, what Panda said in chat, I totally agree with. Basically, like, if you want again, all of these lessons that I am imparting, which everyone can feel free to ignore and just look at the fact that I play terribly sometimes, but these are lessons that I've learned the hard way. Like, I played against Papa Nasty's Skaven a couple of seasons ago with my vampires, and I threw a wild number of 1s, but I lost 7-0 because Skaven will do that to you. If you make mistakes, and I'm very certain that I made lots of mistakes as well as throwing lots of 1s, Skaven will keep scoring.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to be more cautious.
They are the ultimate glass cannon.
Yeah. And there was no respect from Zygmunt for the possibility of things going wrong, I felt like, in this game. And things went wrong statistically more than they should.
Looking at, like, particularly the setup, how it was the same every time, I think that's possibly just some baked-in setup habits, because filling that line entirely is just like, okay, that is maximizing possible blocks if you don't get knockdowns. But that doesn't work against Skaven or teams like Kislev or Wood Elves or Pro Elves, just because they're so damn fast that if something goes wrong or there's a blitz, then you can lose the drive just from a poor setup.
Yeah. Like, a blitz on any of those kickoffs was just like Skaven ball.
Well then, congrats to
Well played,
Panda.
Panda. Yeah, I picked on a couple of things. I do think there was a couple of turns where turn ordering could have still been better for you. The one in particular, like before your first score, where like if you're going to move that piece, there's just no reason not to do it before taking the loner block, because it didn't change anything for that one. I can see how you disagree with me on the first run where I felt like you should have moved something else down. You're certainly allowed to disagree with me and have a different perspective on it, but I think moving things when there's no dice to roll, if you're going to move them anyway, is like one of the things that it's just like most fundamental. Like, it's just like, turn ordering. Which was the only real sort of king picking at.
Turn ordering
very, very good
haunts every coach. Everybody fucks it up more than they would like to admit, myself and Tree included. But
100%.
the more everybody can minimize poor turn ordering, I guarantee you your games will go better. Let's look at the dice log. 5 KOs. The Chorfs inflicted and not a single injury.
There's no question that the dice were unlucky for Zygmunt in my mind. It's just it's what you give a chance to happen on those unlucky dice, I guess.
Alrighty.
46 blocks with all that mighty blow and no injuries is
I just say that's a lot of catch dice, but then I remembered there was at least 2 vanity passes. That's still a lot of catch dice.
Yeah.
There must have been
Yeah.
some scattering balls.
There must have been. I can't remember, but there must have been.
That's 13 catch rolls.
Yeah.
It's a bit ridiculous. Dwarf armor was
I think maybe
bad.
there was like
Wow.
one real like multi-scatter turn. I can't remember it.
The block dice were mostly fine, bit heavy on the pows. Rat block dice, a bit below average actually. But kind of didn't matter. Because their injury dice were phenomenal. Their dodging was pretty good. Pickups pretty good. GFI is perfect. Yeah. Panda's day at the office. Speaking of, let's look at their teams. Alrighty, what happened to Panda? No injuries. And boot magnet leveled. And he hasn't done it. What is it, Panda? Is it another movement up? Can you even get another movement up? Or is it capped at 10? I know armor's capped at 10. Is movement
Movement's
capped
capped at 10.
Capped at okay.
Yeah, everything's capped at 10. Normals, strip
Yeah,
ball.
normals before you
tempo.
ask. Oh, stream delay. Got us again. Strip probably, yeah. I think that's a good
Yeah.
call.
Pretzel strip cuts are good.
Yeah, that'll make that even good at red dicing the ball free. Yeah. Our team is much the same apart from that level up. We've got a bit of SPP now on Weetuck. He needs to get another touchdown, maybe a lucky MVP, and we'll have a bit more hitting power.
I tell you what is a frustrating watching a team like this, and I don't actually question the decision. I think it's probably the right decision. But on the turn where Panda recovered the ball at the start of the game, I was just thinking how good would it be to have that one turner on the pitch to do it. I understand why it isn't, because it's so good for the one turns. You just want to protect it and always have it. But it just sort of felt like if you had it, then you could go, you could bring both of those 2 movement 10 pieces down together. You could have picked it up and maybe even thrown it to get it out of a free block range. But yeah, I understand why you don't.
Maybe, yeah, but I think the Bulls are probably fast enough that it could have caught up. And having
Yeah.
your one turn on the pitch, not
You
one
just know it's
turning,
gonna die, don't you?
feels bad,
Yeah.
particularly against a team like Dwarfs.
Yeah. Yeah, nice to get the 3 SPP on the rookie blitzer as well. This team looks really good. I know like that isn't what you normally say about a team with a couple of holes in it, but it's Skaven and the gutter runners
Team
all look
with
incredible.
however many players, 6, 7. Oh, it's 8 now. There you go. That's not too bad. 8 players is fine.
But you've got all 4 gutter runners and 3 of them have stats. That's good.
And
the
you've
team's
got
still
at
cheap.
least the vermin. They may not be particularly good, but they're alive at the moment. Now I've cursed that. One of them's going to die this week. Let's have a look at Sigmund's Joffs. No injuries, no levels, so same as last week. I believe he was missing the rookie blocker for this game. I think everybody else was there. Can't quite remember.
I can't either. I feel like he had a bench. But then there's nothing. Yeah, I think he was probably missing 1. So yeah, it probably was the rookie blocker. I can't remember, honestly.
This is still really solid.
Do you know what else I was sad about? 16 turn game. I don't think I saw that dirty player do a single foul. Chaos Dwarfs, do some fouls. That's what you're supposed to do.
Panda said earlier he was surprised that the gutter didn't get fouled after he picked it up on turn 1 and then got knocked down.
Yeah.
Because,
It's another reason why you didn't need to use the reroll on that block. Wrestle it down and foul it. Because the dirty player was free, actually. So yeah, I could have done.
Because, the Skaven team is small. The players are so good But if you can Kaz, or I don't know if Panda had babes, probably. Even just temporarily removing a movement 10 wrestle gutter is going to make the drive so much easier, even if you have to trade the dirty player for it.
Yeah, I mean, last season's Super Bowl was a really good rat team, but it suffered some removals at the beginning, and that was it. It was over.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Congrats to Panda. Let's move on to game number 5. Try and speed through these because we are already
Sorry.
at 90 minutes.
Oh
I
my
went long
gosh.
as well. Don't worry.
sorry. I thought it was going to be quick, and I obviously wasn't.
Neither of us were. And that's what the
We
div
never are, that's the problem.
loves about our recaps. How goddamn long they are.
Listen, here's the deal, right? Like, I am really short on sleep this week, so I have to punish the rest of you by keeping you up late in Australia.
All right, here we go. G Doggedy. 2-1 win over Ultimo. 13-hour race to 2, a lonely 2. Lots of blocks for the Lizards, which means the Elves based up a lot, because you really only get to those numbers if they're giving you the opportunity to, or if they're failing a lot of dodge dice and not intentionally leaving themselves based.
Yeah, I was, I think I was a bit surprised by this result, but I did not see it. I saw a lot of games this week. I've talked about games I've seen. I did not see this one, so I can't say for certain how that shook out. But that is a lot of block dice. And compared to the Crocs we saw earlier, a terrible Crocs.
Yeah, not great. Not great. Certainly seen worse, but wouldn't be too happy about that one. But he did win, so he's probably not too mad. Block dice, pretty fine for the Lizards. Pretty balanced. Not great for the Elves. Bit heavy on the low end. And not many pushes, so probably pretty polarizing. Either, hey, it's going well, or shit, dub skulls. Yeah, I can see at least 2 dub skulls in there. Alrighty, we'll have a look at the teams. So, G Doggedy's Lizards. No injuries. At least you do your recaps. Who dat? Is that Popsicle? The avatar is very small, but it kind of looks like Popsicle. I can't tell.
It can't be Popsicle. There's no chainsaw in the logo.
Yes, no injuries on GW's Lids, and we had 1 level on Megamind, which is our Shorehand skink, who now has Sidestep.
Nice.
Yep, you can definitely get
Obviously,
on board with that.
Dreaming for another double to get block, but that's the obvious next skill.
Apparently doubles are very easy for GW's skinks. It's a good one-turner. Even though it's the shorthands piece, it's probably the best one-turner if you have to.
Yeah.
Just because of sidestep and sprint.
I don't know what you would do for the next level if it's not a double. That starts to be quite bloaty. But
that is a good question. So I could, if it weren't the one with sure hands, I would say, oh, you go catch or diving catch, and then it's a good handoff.
You do give it catch, just to make it a one-turn threat anyway. But yeah.
Yeah, maybe. What else could it take?
Ultimo in chat saying that there was a crucial double one, but also GW just played better.
Well, there you go. Good on G Doggedy. Speaking of Ultimo, let's look at his Elves.
GW has also played another game since this, so this team may have changed. This may be an extra updated game.
Oh, yes, that's true. I don't remember what it was, but that's what it was now. Okay, so we have an MNG guard lineman, Verdandy the second. He's MNG'd, but otherwise fine. And Fortuna 2 and Lama both leveled and both got stats. This
What a
is
ridiculous team. What a ridiculous team. Who allowed this? Who said this could happen?
see this Fortuna the second, Fortuna 2.
We talked about this as a possibility, and there was disagreement about whether it would be good to keep taking the stats. But
Oh,
I love it, even if
it's like
not optimal.
you really can't ignore Agi as an elf catcher. Like
An
I
elf
can't,
one-turning catcher.
I
I can just walk through tackle zones.
yeah, I can't blame him for taking the Agi. But now I look at this and go, this is a great piece until you face a kill team and it gets rid of your bench. Then it's a bit of a liability.
I agree with Panda. Strength next. It has to be.
Because yeah, this can be protected whilst there's a bench, but as soon as there's not a bench, I'm still surprised this has lasted so long. Like I was expecting this thing's death before it got this level. Yeah.
The thing is now, like you can't have block, dodge, and the one-turn skills, so you're going to have to make a choice, even if you
Yeah.
don't roll anymore. So
I think using a high elf catcher as purely one turn, because it'll have guard and agi, but agi 5 without dodge or leap is not that great. It's good, but you can't go haha agi 5 because it doesn't have any inbuilt rerolls apart from the catch, but that's not really what you're going to be worried about. I had the same in my pro elf team. I had a wrestle juggernaut strip agi 5 catcher. It was a bit of a victim of circumstance. The fact that I started it with wrestle and then went jugs because it got doubles and I wanted jugs at the time to cancel out stand firm meant that he was so polarizing in that I would be like, okay, guess you're just cage diving, don't have a reroll for it, maybe it'll work, maybe I'll lose the drive.
yeah,
Agi 5 is so good when it's got the reroll skills to back it up.
yeah, 100%. Like I know that too from when I got my ridiculous Agi 6 vampire, which by the end was incredible, but actually it went through quite an awkward phase because I think it was Agi 6 before I had any skills. So
So yeah, I think this thing has to take dodge next. If it doesn't, because it doesn't have dodge to actually do things and somewhat protect it, it's going to die before it hits legend.
But what if it's strength, Pickles?
If it's strength, you retire the team and submit it to Imperium.
Like get strength, and because you can't have strength 5 without strength 4, so you have to get strength twice next 2 levels, and then you have a 10-5-5-7 piece, and I don't care. Like that's just the dream.
It's like a 10-5-5-7 that just gets like red dyed by like a loner and dies. Like
It's so obnoxious. I love the idea of it.
Oh. I know I said that last time. I am continually amazed by this div. The fact that this abomination of a catcher is alive. You know, at some of Riker's ridiculous lines of play that just work. It is truly mind-bending.
Can we say though, like, 'cause, yeah, that's an amazing piece, but actually, in many ways, Latina is even better now. I think, because yeah, that has got dodge, has got strength. Up,
Yeah,
has
the other
got
catcher
movement
is
9.
better. The other catcher is better. I would take
Like that's
the other one every day of the week if I had to choose between the two.
9-4-4-7. That's ridiculous.
9-4-4-7.
With block, dodge, and tackle.
Dodge tackle, yeah. That's so good. And yeah, like the
Sorry, I didn't-
catches on high elves and pro elves are so important because they're so damn fast and they're strength 3. Those 2 and war dancers are the only movement 8 and up that are strength 3. Every other movement 8 and up is strength 2, which is why
Yeah.
they're so good. You know, skinks, gutter runners, human catchers, they're all strength 2.
This
Because
is
of
like
that
literally
strength, yeah.
why. It's literally why, like, when I used to think about my reroll for next season, I guess start going back to Elves. It's just because every stat looks so fun. Like, every stat you can roll
Yeah.
is fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a team that
Nothing's
starts
going to be
with
wasted.
generally, like, it starts with good stats and really easy levels to, as in
Yeah.
the ability to skill up. And yeah, just gets better. But pays for that with low AV.
Yeah. Anyway, the important thing is Ultimo. Enjoy the team because it won't last forever, but it just looks like heaps
Oh,
of
yeah.
fun. Like it looks like so much fun.
Like, fully appreciate that at least part of my slight hatred for this catcher is because I'm so jealous of it.
Yeah, definitely.
But hot damn. Lady Luck will be back this week with a niggle. We'll see how much Ultimo poms with that, because it is now a super juicy foul target. All right. I said we were going to go faster, and we didn't. So next
And
game.
we're not. Who's surprised that we're going so still?
All right. Walker Finn. A 1-all
Yeah.
draw.
Slightly surprised. I thought Dodge might save Walker from catastrophe. The injuries actually aren't that bad. It was just a niggle on a line woman.
I think the key
Yeah.
here will be looking straight at the block dice for the chaos. Actually pretty bad, but just there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
That's a lot of skulls. Did any of them really matter?
Chaos just held the ball.
Yeah, a couple of double skulls.
So this is one of the many sort of tricky things about Amazons is like you aren't really built to strip the ball, turn it over, that sort of thing. So you kind of just need to slow your opponent down a lot. And that can mean taking a lot of hits.
Yeah.
Which you hope Dodge will save you from, but sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, Dodge will certainly save you in low to mid TVs a lot of the time, but coming up against something like Finn's team, they're going to have enough tackle that it's just going to snowball.
Yeah. Tackle Minotaur.
Yeah.
Although no casualties for the Tackle Minotaur, so.
That said, the Zons threw more blocks than the Chaos did.
That's interesting.
That is interesting.
Do you know what, Panda? Finn has both scored and not lost now for a few weeks in a row, so Finn's catastrophe are no longer playing just the sort of murderer.
When Finn stops playing like Finn, everyone becomes terrified.
Yeah. His last 3 games, he's won 2 and drawn 1, and he's scored 4 touchdowns, so team's doing stuff.
All right, let's have a look at the teams. Start with Walker. So we had a niggled rookie lion woman. Missy Higgins, the second here, is niggled. Not much cash in the bank. Probably leave it for a week, and if nothing goes wrong in this coming week, you just cycle that.
Yeah, the problem this week is you're playing Chaos Dwarfs, so
yeah,
the extra bodies would be good. I might be tempted to buy another one just because you're going to be get hit a lot with tackle.
That leaves you on 10k, and then if if a blitzer goes down, that's real bad.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know what the TV disparity is, so maybe you can induce something as well.
Yeah, actually, the Chorfs are pretty expensive in comparison, so you could probably get just extra bench and a star player or something like that. Margot Robbie, the niggled dirty player, has leveled. I don't think Walker's here, so we don't know what this is. On normals, it's probably just take wrestle.
Yeah, there's nothing great for that. Or kick. You haven't got a kick at the moment.
Yeah, kick could be a good idea. There's not too many pieces you want to put it on, so could be a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that big of a priority for Amazons, but just because that piece is a bit weird anyway, it feels like it's a place we might as well just go, well. I like kick on every team. Kick's never bad.
Yeah. I can't remember if Walker's played Panda. Panda's, you're here, so you'll be able to tell us. But yeah, kick on this could just mean a much harder natural one turn because you've still got to go get the ball. So if you get to the back corner and get lucky, it might be like, oh shit, Panda's got to do a 4+ pass. He smashed you? Okay. Either way, though, kick's still very helpful. I think it's got to be kick or wrestle. You could consider fend because it's going to get targeted. And if it doesn't get knocked down or it doesn't get broken, then it's, you know, not tagged probably. So it can go stand up and go foul something.
Obviously, if it's a double, everybody's favourite sneaky get. Do it do it for the fans.
I think you just have to. Because, like, going, oh, it's a double. I should take guard. Guard on that piece is pretty bad. I think there's only one dirty player sneaky git I've ever seen. And it was Ken the Noblar on Ed Havoc's team. That was a strength 1 dirty player. Sorry, Agi 1. Because the Noblar is strength 1. It was an Agi 1.
Oh my god, so the stat line is 5115.
Yep.
So
he was an amazing player. And it took so long for him to die. Yeah. Let's look at Finn's team. We got no damage, but there is a level. Unfortunately, has not leveled it up. It is Miliana, a rookie beastman, grabbing another level. What does Finn need? He needs wrestle. I think this should just be a snap wrestle unless it's doubles.
yeah, that makes sense to me.
He's got a lot of really interesting tools on the beastman, but he doesn't quite have an answer to block when he really needs to get it down. But will he do that? Because he likes punching stuff and wrestle doesn't cause armor breaks.
Just mighty blow. Just go for it.
I
First
mean,
skill.
you kind of could. Like, wrestle is a good option, but this team has so much tackle, and it's got a dirty player, and it's got a blodge DT and a frenzy that you could just go, who needs wrestle? Mighty blow first.
Yeah. Or a backup dirty player. I mean,
Yeah.
actually, a backup dirty player isn't terrible on a team that's this much designed to kill, because
That's true, yeah.
means you've always got one.
It does have 230k in the bank, which meant he
Oh,
went
geez.
in with extra cash. I think. What's the most you can earn? Is it 70?
Well, in theory, but unlikely, you can get +2 on fame, 10 for the win, 6, you get 90.
Oh.
Mm.
There you go.
It's very unlikely they had +2 fame, though, because +2 fame only really happens with fresh team.
Maybe he was bang on 150 and ended up 80 from the win. Oh, actually, he drew.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, then no, he couldn't have got that.
I think he must have
Saving for the
had.
big stadium, maybe?
Possibly, where's it at the moment?
I did that last
It is
season, I
level
think.
3.
Saved up 300k.
He's got elf
whatever it
turf.
is.
Never noticed. The next one is 400k for the level 4. It's a lot.
I mean, at this point, Finn might just not care about his team values, so...
Yeah. Quite possibly. Alrighty. Final game of the week. Patho against Capcaster. A 2-1 win to Capcaster. This just happened this afternoon. So I've got no notes for it. I don't know what was injured. I don't know what leveled.
No, I'm just happy it happened. I think Capcaster got... I don't know if it was messed around. I have no idea what Patho's reasons were for missing, but Capcaster had a hard time scheduling the game. He was all ready to play at a certain time.
I believe the
And then-
first one was, Patho forgot about the game time and they rescheduled, and then Patho came down with a fever.
Right.
Then the third reschedule was this afternoon. They were able to play it. So that was good.
Mm-hmm.
It looks very one-sided blocks-wise. Almost twice as many blocks and no removals. There was no armor breaks from the High Elves.
Mm-hmm.
Nasty. Dodge is not great for the elves, but having seen a bit of Patho's stuff, one week he was very happy to do like 3+ and 4+ dodges. I'm not sure if that was actually too bad, depending on what he was doing with the
I
doing
see
with
a
the dodges.
fireball.
Yes, I see a fireball as well. Oh, I did catch parts of this on Capcaster's stream, I believe. That was... Yeah, it was a 3-man fireball that included one of his own players.
Oh, wow.
It got his player and didn't get any of Capcaster's.
Oh my god. Oh, that's sad. That's sad. And also really funny.
I don't know if... I actually only saw the aftermath of it because I was actually making the slides and writing down some notes at the time. I remember seeing a fireball animation and then looking over and just seemingly nothing fell over. I think his player was down at the time. He didn't realize that it would hit it, which it does.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it didn't hit down players. There you go.
I believe it does. I believe the fireball hits downed players, but the bomb doesn't, or it's the other way around.
I'm pretty sure the bomb does, because you can throw a bomb at a downed player if you want.
I don't quite remember. Maybe it was standing, and you just didn't realize that it... Does it turn over if you hit your own downed player? I believe so.
No, it doesn't, because the fireball is before the turn. The bomb would. I think the fireball doesn't turn over. I'm like 60% sure on that. So like,
I don't
not
know.
100% sure.
I haven't really
definitely
seen
does.
it. I might have to
I
go
know the
back
bomb
to
does.
Capcaster's stream and watch it back to see exactly what happened.
It definitely seems like it's going to be worth revisiting.
Yeah. Have a look at the teams. I'm not sure what injured or leveled, but we'll just see what they're doing. Well, there was... No, it's... Other lizards have played. I was like, has Cap already played this week? No. So we got... Level on Kate Lichette.
Cap has... No, Cap can't have played. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, I
That's
was thinking of the other lizards.
Yeah.
But it looks of it, looking pretty good. Really just hoping for that Shorehand skink, and then he's solid. And also block on the crocs.
Hey,
But,
there's Cap in chat. No turnover.
There was no
This-
turnover. Okay.
What was the skill roll, Cap? Is that a double or is it just a normal? Either
Yeah,
way,
what's
this team
this?
looks really good.
I assume if it's a double, that would be a snap Shorehand, but maybe not.
Yeah. You could be weighing up block.
Yeah.
Team looks really good. This is, I've been saying it for a few weeks, it's the best looking lizard team. And I just really like the Saurus. Like, it's such a nice spread. You've got 2 mighty blow tackle, you've got the strength
Yeah.
with break tackle, you've got some guard. There's always more you want with Saurus, but that's a really nice core to your team.
Yeah, they're not quite like probably one of the closest things you compare them to is a Black Orc, where the Black Orc is kind of done after 3 levels.
No, because you need them to be, I mean, in the end, like, given all the skills in the world, you want like all of them to have break tackle, really, because then
Yeah.
you could
You
run
pretty much want them
around,
all
but
to have
everything's got
block,
first.
tackle, mighty blow, break tackle, guard, stand firm.
And stand firm, yeah.
Which
so
is
there's
like
a lot you
legend.
want, yeah. It's a normal.
It's normals, okay.
So it's either sidestep or diving tackle, probably, depending on how you like to play it.
Yeah. Probably sidestep first, I think, is the go-to, because DT's not too great if you can just be shoved off, because you're strength 2.
It's generally my thinking, but I've sort of felt a bit differently ever since playing Dalric in our division, who has diving tackle goblins without sidestep and uses them really well. So like, I'm a bit more open-minded.
And Patho's team, we've got Money Mayfeather is MNG'd. That's our Rog lineman. Our Blodge Tackle Blitzer. Also just MNG'd. I can't remember if this hole in the ledger was already here or if something died.
I can check.
It doesn't look like there was any levels.
There was a agility busted thrower. Oh, that's quite tough. That's
Ooh.
particularly gone. Yeah, agility busted thrower with dodge. It's only one skill, but yeah, I think that's gone, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's rough. But at least it was only a one skill thrower as opposed to, you know, something built as proper quarterback or something like that that's part of your offense and then gone.
It's annoying that you can't afford another one right away.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. But they're so easy to level that once you can, it'll be back up and running. It's really just the fact that he can't replace it immediately that's a bit unfortunate about that. Alrighty. Congrats to Capcaster on a 2-1 win. That is the week that was. Have a quick look at the leaderboard. And we're starting to see a bit of breakaway at the top.
Yeah, well, Paul Capcaster would have been top for about 5 minutes before Shaitan played his game for next round and immediately got in front again.
That is true. Shaitan has already played. So it's not quite as broken away as it looks. But it is starting to get that way.
It's starting to look to me like a 3-horse because it's one playoff ticket and it's starting to me to look like a 3-horse race for that playoff ticket. It's the 2 lizard teams and Panda. I think below that it's getting harder. It's not impossible, but you need those teams ahead of you to step up.
Yeah, I think people in contention are probably all the way down to G Doggedy. Walker and Incesticide kind of are, but they're in this awkward spot where they're more than 2 wins away.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's it. Like, Ultimo and Synergy, if you win this week, you are only 1 point behind Shaitan. You might be more behind, depending how Cap does. So there's still time. You're definitely not out of it if you're down to Ultimo, but I think we're getting closer to the end of the season, so the gap becomes wider without changing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I think pretty much any of the teams on 4 wins, if Shaitan and Cap don't lose in the next couple of weeks and one of those does, they're pretty much out of it, short of a miracle.
Yeah. Well, there will be some head-to-heads. Ultimo's just said he's got to play Shaitan, so that's definitely relevant.
Yeah. Might have to, between this week and next, have a look at all the remaining matchups and see.
Well, do you know what's
needs what.
annoying? Actually, is that Trauk was going to give us the stats on everyone's playoff chances at the end of this round. And I don't know if Shaitan playing so quickly in this round might stop him from being able to do it. I don't know if he needs everyone on equal games.
Maybe. But that's kind of just the maths.
Yeah.
I think I'm not sure if I did it last season. I definitely did it the season before. We just had a look at sort of the top 6 or so and who they still had to play. Because I think it was last season. Yeah, because it was Surge and Liam and Schleiss and all that, where Trauk was sitting well at the top, but still had, I think, 3 of the top 6 to play. And someone in second or third had played everybody in the top half and only had the bottom half teams to play. So it was interesting looking at the comparison of those schedules of what is actually more likely.
Well, looking at this week, for instance, I know Capcast has a game that could change a lot. Let's do them. Let's look at this week.
Let's look at the tips. We'll briefly look at last week's, which is right here. Oh, thank you, my thing displaying that I'm apparently getting up in 8 hours, which is not correct. Sorry, chat. He didn't do too well.
Oh, chat. Oh, chat.
I think there's certainly some perhaps not wise tipping from the chat. I don't think tipping Lofty over Shaitan was a great idea. By all means, have faith in Lofty, but it was what, first against last at the
Not
time.
first, because Cap was first. But
Oh,
yeah,
second against
maybe.
last.
Yeah.
So that puts us Tree at 23, myself at 21, and Chat down on 16.
Clinging on to the lead, but I know that you've already got one back on me this week, so.
And so has Chat, because we're going to take pity on you, Chat.
You're getting a free point.
You're getting a free point because this game has already been played. Tree and I entered our tips much earlier this afternoon, so we didn't know that this game was happening. So Chat, you get Shaitan.
So just to clarify, because you got a win earlier in the season when just I didn't have a chance because my player wasn't even playing. Chat's had a free win. Just keeping track of this for the end of the season.
Yeah. No comment.
Good job, Chad. We did it again. That's right.
All right. We're going to fire through these because we've already hit our 2-hour mark, which is the goal every week, if you didn't know. Walker against Sigmund.
I might change my pick on this one. After watching Sigmund, I'm wobbling on keeping that. I might. Oh, it's just like Chaos Dwarfs against Amazons, though. It feels so bad for the Amazons.
Yeah. It is certainly a matchup that favours the choice. But the Amazons do have a decent amount of inducements. I think it's at least a few hundred.
Let me just quickly check that.
1880 against 1490.
Yeah, that's 300. I can't do maths. 390?
Yes, currently. But that might change. Does he have extra cash? He doesn't, actually.
I've changed my pick to a tie. That's what I'm doing.
Alrighty. What are we doing, chat? As soon as I say the matchup, just start throwing them out because of stream delay, and we will get there. Walker does not equal Chorfs. I assume that means Ultimo is going for Walker. Ultimo's convinced you voting Walker. Alrighty. Looks like chat is going Walker. If you are here and you're not in Div 3, by all means, throw out names that you see on screen.
I'm actually changing another of my picks as well. I did these in a rush. I'm changing another one.
Oh. I guess I've got to rely on Walker to close this gap for me then.
Yeah, I don't. You talked me out of Riker. You talked him down too much, and then I saw Ultimo's team and those stat levels. I just thought no.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a very interesting game, Ultimo against Riker.
Yeah, hopefully be fun. We're not there yet. Though we're at Synergy.
High Elves against Necro, Patho against Synergy. We've already got Ultima backing his High Elf brethren.
I've had a lot of faith in Synergy all season, and sometimes that's been wrong, but I still have faith in Synergy. And I think that Mighty Blow Wolf is a menace. He's got the block Shohan's Ghoul now, and I think the Elves are missing their only tackle. They've got Wrestle, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, the Elves, I think, do have a Wizard if they want it in this one, so...
They've got... they do have a Wizard, but that'll be pretty much it.
Yeah, they'd have no bench, so...
Because with two loners, they get to, I think, 170, 180 below.
And they don't have, like, the crazy, like, Agi 5 recovery either, or anything like that. I think, I'm going Synergy.
Yeah, I think Synergy's Wolves are going to wreak havoc on that Elf team.
It's tough, isn't it? Because they have the movement with those Wolves as well, so they can't just get, like, elfed around.
Yeah, I find Necro one of the toughest. Necro and Lizards, I find one of the toughest matchups for Elves in general. Each different elf has, something that they also hate. Like, Pro Elves hate Nurgle because they like passing, and Nurgle's like, no. But, yeah, I think Necro are real tough for elf teams in general. Cap against Incesticide.
Yeah, so Cap is definitely my pick. As someone has just said in chat, Panda, Cap plays really well. Like, I totally agree. I think Cap's been really consistent when I've watched him this season. So well done, Cap. And I also wonder about Incesticide's mindset after what we saw this week. That said, it's still a scary game for Cap because there's Claw and Mighty Blow on the pitch, and
Yeah.
those Thoros are looking good right now, but will they look good at the end of the game?
Noticeably less Claw and Mighty Blow than
Yeah.
at the start of the season. They are being thinned down. But yes, I also think whoa, a cap in caps is apparently what my keyboard wanted there. Finn against Lofty. We've got, I don't know what he's doing with this cash, but 2280 chaos.
Who would ever have imagined, Pickles, that both of us would be picking Finn to win a game together? It's
Lofty there.
it's Chat's going with Lofty. Chat is just all about Lofty this season, and I appreciate it. Chat is showing some solidarity for Lofty in the rough season that Lofty's having. I think unfortunately Lofty is just having a rough time, and Finn is not a team you want to play when you have a rough time. I don't even know what Amazons can do with all that inducement money, because they're not fast enough to just do the bolt and steal
I
and be
think
great at it.
Lofty has to get Roxana, which is the movement at Agi 5.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I think you've almost got to do that just so you have a fast scoring-ish option. So hopefully Lofty gets enough points on the board before his team leaves the pitch.
7 bribes.
And Finn does like to pile on.
It's true.
I'm not sure how much Roxana is, but yeah, you could definitely get Roxana. Probably a dirty player merc and a couple of bribes. Probably some babes. Alright. Ultimo against Riker.
I switched because of how you just did Raker dirty at the start of this recap. Convinced me that Raker's just not making good decisions. I mean, Ultimo's team's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Farmer dies. Well, it is easier to kill him now.
I think there's a good chance that Pommer, if it does pomming, is going to get fouled because there are peasants around. But
I don't think Riker fouled this week.
Interesting.
But it was such a messy brawl, and everyone was constantly focused on the ball because it was always hitting the floor that there wasn't really a great time to foul. But yeah, I don't actually remember him throwing one. Maybe he did. That catcher's going to get brawled. Yeah. You're not
That's
wrong.
a good chance.
See, the thing is, that catcher, Raker's killer, which has wrestle, if he feels like it, he can just go, nah, not going to wrestle.
That's true. I mean, do you not just slightly think, though, that Raker's going to throw some more dump-offs and maybe all that strength and agility is going to do some stuff?
The elves are elves, though, and there's Agi 5 elves. So I think there's going to be a dump-off interception.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think there's going to be some fun interactions between dump-off and elves thieving the ball.
Yeah. I think Riggers has some ridiculous games that I've seen where I'm like, wow, that's a risky line of play when it worked out, and then this week is just like, what are you doing, man? So yeah, back in the elves. As much as I think it's very likely that more than one of them is going to die, I think they're going to win. What is chat going?
I've just seen one for Ty so far.
Ultimo's going for
Panda
himself, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Who's here? Cap? Do you want to break the tie? Synergy might still be here.
I don't think Synergy's here. Synergy hasn't posted in a while.
As long as he doesn't dump off over the Ag5. Look, I wouldn't be surprised.
I actually want him to. I think that'd be amazing.
I mean, Ultimo just like blitzes with the Ag5 lineman that I think has wrestle.
Oh, Sin is here. Sin, make a pick. Ultimo against Riker. Any pick. You have the say.
Because even if you say the option that hasn't been said, that means they get a tie.
Yeah. Keeping us in suspense.
He'll eventually catch up.
It's not better.
Panda against Bowen. Bowen has taken some serious hits. We're going tie. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, Bowen's taken some serious hits this week. He's going in pretty undercooked.
Yeah, you've lost both killers against a team that's like got
Yeah.
stupid gutter runners. I think that's
He is still 12, so he could kind of just... If he fully embraces a fouling aspect, even without bribes, that might get the job done, but... I don't know.
there's no sure hands to guard against the strip board either. I don't know. I think it's gonna be
Looking at 1,400. There's only going to be 50 in inducements for Panda.
yeah. There's no wizard, but I don't think you need it.
Probably don't.
You're right that the one way that this can still go the Orcs' way is if they just remove the Skaven.
Yeah,
If you're
absolutely.
playing with 11 players like Skaven, that can happen too, but it just definitely favours the Skaven for me, this one.
Yeah.
It's even quite a lot of lost block there, like 2 block pieces down, 2 more pieces that don't have it on the pitch.
Mm-hmm. And there is an Agi5 gutter this week, which Panda did not have last week.
Mm.
It is movement busted, but it's still faster than all the orcs significantly. All right. Well, that's it, guys. Coming in at a tidy 2 hours and 13 minutes.
It's nothing. It's nothing.
It's nothing.
I'm making up for how quick my game was. One of my airtime today.
Alrighty. We yeah, that's it. So thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for hanging out. Hope you all enjoyed the probably more serious ribbing that we gave some of the coaches this week.
Sorry, guys.
Hopefully everyone will be back for more next week. Yep. That's it. I've been Serpickles. She's been MisspelledTree. And we'll catch everybody next time.